Drill Sergeant Vorthak had trained cadets from 47 different species across the galaxy, but nothing in his 3 centuries of military instruction had prepared him for the human who stood at attention in his formation on Titan Military Academy. Cadet Jake Morrison looked unremarkable by human standards, average height, lean build, with the easy smile that seemed perpetually attached to his species' faces. But his personnel file read like a work of fiction. First human accepted into the Galactic Defense Academy, hailing from the notorious Deathworld Sol 3. "Listen up, meat!" Vorthak's voice boomed across the training ground, his 4 arms gesticulating dramatically. "Today we begin physical assessment trials. The standards are set by the physiological limits of civilized species. Anyone who cannot meet minimum requirements will be shipped back to whatever backwater planet spawned them." The mixed species formation of cadets. Centaurians with their reinforced exoskeletons, gaseous ethereals in their containment suits, crystalline shard beings that rang like bells when they moved, all nodded in understanding. All except the human, who seemed to be stretching his legs. "First test," Vorthak announced. "Endurance run. 15 kilometers. Maximum time allowed, 2 standard hours. This accommodates even the slowest species in our ranks." As the starting signal sounded, Jake began what appeared to be a casual jog. The other cadets surged ahead, using various forms of locomotion, the Centaurians scuttling on multiple legs, the energy-based Luxori flowing like liquid light, the mechanical gearheads rolling on integrated wheels. Sergeant Clickstaw, monitoring from the command post, watched her sensors with growing confusion. "Sir, the human's vital signs, they're barely elevated. He's probably already exhausted," Vorthak grumbled. "Deathworlders burn out fast in controlled environments." But as the kilometers passed, something unprecedented occurred. One by one, the other cadets began to falter. The Centaurians' cooling systems overloaded. The ethereals consumed their energy reserves. Even the cybernetic gearheads required maintenance stops. Jake Morrison continued his steady pace, breathing easily, occasionally waving at the tracking drones overhead. "Impossible," whispered training coordinator Yilmeth, her scales shifting to colors indicating extreme distress. "He's covered 12 kilometers, and his heart rate hasn't exceeded what we consider a resting pulse for most species." Jake crossed the finish line in 43 minutes, alone. The nearest competitor was still 8 kilometers behind. "Sensor malfunction," Vorthak declared, but his voice lacked conviction. The strength assessment yielded similar results. Where the testing apparatus expected cadets to struggle with loads equivalent to their body weight, Jake casually lifted nearly 3 times his mass. When the endurance lifting began, sustained holds designed to test muscular stamina, other cadets managed the required 30 seconds with great difficulty. Jake held the weight for 11 minutes before asking, "Sir, is there a time limit on this? Because I can keep going, but I'm getting kind of bored." The obstacle course, designed by military engineers to challenge the diverse locomotion capabilities of galactic species, became Jake's playground. He vaulted over barriers meant to test jumping species, crawled through spaces designed for flexibility specialists, and balanced across beams intended for species with natural gyroscopic abilities. "This is impossible," Senior Instructor Kethrel announced, her tentacles writhing in frustration. "These tests were calibrated using data from the strongest, fastest, most agile species in known space. No single being should excel at all categories." During the mental endurance trial, maintaining focus under stress for 6 hours straight, Jake not only completed every task, but began solving additional problems he created for himself to stay entertained. By day's end, the entire training staff had gathered to witness what they were quietly calling the human phenomenon. "Cadet Morrison," Vorthak said, his voice uncharacteristically subdued, "your performance today has, exceeded our understanding of biological possibilities. Jake shrugged, a gesture that somehow conveyed both modesty and casual indifference to having just shattered every Academy record. Sir, I didn't really push myself today. I was just trying to get a feel for your baseline requirements. The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of Senior Instructor Kethral's tablet crashing to the floor. Cadet, Borthak managed, what would constitute pushing yourself? Jake's grin widened. Well, sir, back home, this would be considered light morning exercise. We usually do this kind of stuff before breakfast. As the training staff exchanged horrified glances, they realized they weren't just training a cadet from a death world. They were witnessing the casual capabilities of a species for whom surviving daily life required performance levels that exceeded their most elite military standards. The galaxy, it seemed, was about to be introduced to humanity's idea of trying